What's up guys, it's me, Kedar, and in this video I'll be taking a look at a free introductory wargame. In the last video we took a look at the torture that was the campaign for North Africa, but thankfully this game was much simpler. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
The year is 1941, and on October 2nd, you and a friend take control of a German and Soviet commander. The Germans, with dwindling reserve soldiers and armies of man and steel, launched their final attack on the USSR, Operation Typhoon. Standing in their way were the Soviet soldiers, held together with duct tape and an iron will. You both are in the battle for Moscow. The Battle for Moscow is an amazing free introductory wargame for those just getting into the hobby. The rules are extremely simple and are about 6 pages long. The game introduces many core concepts of wargaming and is great for beginners. The Battle for Moscow is a print and play game, so you do have to put some work into assembling and putting together the parts, but the game is well worth the effort. There were a lot of twists and turns when I played the game, and while all of the units were bunched up together in a claustrophobic manner at the start of the game, as it progresses, units move around and tactical decisions must be made. When I played through the game, the German forces just barely managed to break through the Moscow defenses due to a gap in the Soviet forces. And now, here's how to play the game. In the Battle for Moscow, there are 2 sides: the invading German forces and the defending Soviet forces. To play the game, you'll need the game board, 1 6-sided die, 17 double-sided Soviet counters, and 22 double-sided German counters. Each unit or counter has 2 sides, one of which is at full strength and the other side is the weaker half strength. On both sides of the unit, they have pretty much the exact same layout. The color of the counter helps you figure out which side the counter is on. Red and orange counters are Soviet units, and green counters are German units. At the top of the counter, you'll either see 3 or 4 X's, and these represent the size of the unit. 3 X's are a corps, and 4 X's represent an army. This has no effect on gameplay and is there for purely historical facts. In the center of the unit, below its size, is its type. This has a minor effect on gameplay. There are 2 types of units in the game: infantry and tanks. Only the Germans have tanks, because
German science is the finest in the world!
On the side of the unit's type is its identification. This has no effect on gameplay, but is important when assembling the pieces themselves. When making the double-sided counters for the game, the full-strength and half-strength sides of the counter should have matching identifications. This means that, for example, the 5th Soviet Battalion unit full-strength piece and the 5th Soviet Battalion unit half-strength piece should be on opposite sides of the same counter. The identification also helps differentiate between which side the piece is on. If the identification number is written as a word, then the counter is on the Soviet side. And if the identification is written in Roman numerals, then the counter is on the German side. Below the unit's type are 2 numbers, separated by a dash. The number on the left of the dash is a unit's combat strength or power in battle. The higher the number, the better. The number on the right of the dash represents the unit's movement allowance, which shows how many spaces it can move. In the Battle for Moscow, the game spans 7 turns. The objective of the game is to control Moscow, which is done by being the last player to have one of their units enter Moscow. At the end of the 7 turns, whoever controls Moscow the last wins the game. At the start of the game, Russia controls Moscow. Each turn in the game is split into 8 different phases. First, the German forces receive replacements. Then all German tanks may move. Afterward, all German units may attack the opposing Soviet forces. Then the German player may move all of their units, including the tanks that already moved. After that, the Soviet forces receive replacements, The Soviet forces then may move their units along rail lines. Then the Soviet forces may attack their German invaders, and at the end of the turn, the Soviets may move any of their units, including those that already moved before in the turn. Then, the next turn starts. Each unit in the game has a zone of control, which represents the 6 hexes surrounding the unit. These zones of control affect how units can move and retreat, and how replacements can be deployed. Units are moved during their respective movement phases, and they may move in any adjacent hex. The movement allowance of the unit represents how far in hexes the units may travel per phase. The only exception to this are forest hexes, which are the green spaces on the map. Forest hexes count as 2 hexes to move onto due to the thick trees in the area. On the map, you'll notice black lines running through it. These are railways, and Soviet units on the railways may move along these lines during the rail movement phase. When moving across railways, the forest hexes only count as 1 hex. Units, when moving, may never enter a hex containing an enemy unit. Units may pass through hexes containing a friendly unit, but may never end their movement on a hex containing a friendly unit. Each hex can only contain 1 unit. Whenever a unit enters an enemy zone of control, their movement ends for the phase. The 3rd and 4th turn of the game are called mud turns, and units' movement allowances during these turns become 1 due to the thick mud in the area. However, during mud turns, Soviets may travel across railways using their normal movement allowance. Combat is extremely simple in the Battle for Moscow. Unlike a certain game that takes place in North Africa, the attacking player, which are the Germans in the German combat phase and the Soviets in the Soviet combat phase, first announce all of their battles. This means that the player chooses which enemy units to attack and which units will attack them. A battle is when 1 or more units attack an enemy unit adjacent to it. Only 1 attack is allowed per unit during each combat phase, and a unit may only be attacked once per phase. Once these battles have been declared, the attacking player cannot change their mind. These battles are resolved 1 at a time in any order the attacking player chooses. To resolve a battle, the following steps are taken. First, the attacking player totals the combat strength of all of their attacking units in the battle and divides it by the combat strength of the unit that is being attacked, dropping the decimal to get one of the odds listed on the combat results table. During mud turns, the attacking unit's strength is cut in half. If the odds are greater than 6 to 1, they are reduced to 6 to 1. If the odds are less than 1 to 1, then nothing happens in the battle. Afterward, players determine if terrain has affected the odds. If the unit that is being attacked is in a forest or in Moscow, the odds are reduced by 1 level. There are many rivers in the map, which are represented by gray, wavy lines on the map. If all of the attacking units are on one side of the river, and the defending unit is on the other, the defending unit has an advantage and the odds are reduced by 1. The Soviets also have a home turf advantage, and if they're on one of the darker colored hexes, also known as fortifications, and they're being attacked, the odds are reduced by 1 level. Afterward, the attacking player rolls 1 die, and checks the combat results table. The result of the die is then checked with the combat results table to determine the outcome of the battle, with the column being the odds of the battle and the row being result of the die roll. The outcome is then immediately applied. If the unit that was attacked is no longer in the hex, either through retreating or being completely eliminated, one of the attacking units may move on to the hex and the battle ends, and the next battle is resolved using these steps. There are 6 different results to combat, which are as follows. A result of NE means that there is no effect to the battle and nothing happens. A result of DR means that the defender retreats and the defending unit is moved 2 hexes away by the attacking player. The defending unit must be 2 hexes away from its origin and may not enter an enemy zone of control. The defending unit must not end its retreat on a hex with a friendly unit on it. If all of these conditions aren't possible, then the defending unit is completely eliminated and removed from the board. A result of DRL means that the defending unit must take a loss, and then if it's still there, follow the process used on a result of defender retreat. A result of AL means attacker lost, and that an attacking unit of the attacking player's choice takes a loss. A result of DE means that the defending unit is completely eliminated and removed from the board. Finally, a result of EX means exchange, and the defending unit takes a loss and retreats, just like the result of DRL, and the attacking unit must match the loss. For example, if a defending unit goes from 9 strength to 4 strength, the attacking unit must also lose the same amount of strength, in this case, which is 5 strength. If the strength of the attacking unit is below 0, it is eliminated. Whenever a unit takes a loss, it means that the unit weakens. If a full strength unit takes a loss, it is flipped down to half strength. If a half strength unit takes a loss, it is eliminated. Right before the Germans move, and right before the Soviets move, they get reinforcements. Germans get 1 reinforcement each turn, and the Soviets get 5. Reinforcements can be used to flip up a half-strength unit back all the way up to full strength. Additionally, German reinforcements can be placed on the western edge of the map at half-strength, and Soviet reinforcements can be placed on the eastern side of the map and on Moscow if no unit is on Moscow already. Additionally, reinforcements can be placed on any friendly city in communication at half-strength. A player gets a friendly city if one of their units has occupied that city last. At the start of the game, all cities are friendly to the Soviet side. The term in communication means that a path can be traced from one unit to that city without entering an enemy's zone of control. A unit that was created as a reinforcement in a turn may not be upgraded to full strength on the same turn. Additionally, Soviet forces may not use their forced shock army as a reinforcement until the 4th turn of the game and afterward. To set up the game, the Soviet player places their units on the spaces marked by a star at half strength. Any unit except for the first shock unit may be placed on the hexes marked by a star. The specific placement of the Soviet units doesn't matter because much like their wages, the Soviet units all have the same combat strength and movement allowance. The German player then places their units on the spaces marked by a cross, all at full strength. And that is the Battle for Moscow, an amazing introductory print-and-play wargame, which simulates the attempted German invasion of Russia, Operation Typhoon.
The Battle for Moscow was the first wargame I've ever played, and I had an absolute blast playing it. And the best part about it is that it's completely free. So if you're interested in playing the game yourself, I've put a link to its components and its rules in the description down below. If you're interested in checking out a brand new trading card game that combines aspects of war games with trading card games, check out the Gladiator trading card game. A link to its shop page will be in the description down below. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.